Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to give you all a little heads up and a little bit of update on my situation here. And I don't know, in case I haven't said it on these videos, I applied for SS disability because I have osteoarthritis in my knees. I applied 4 years ago, and because my paperwork was from 2016, they wanted paperwork from 2019. When I applied in 2020, they said my paperwork from 2016 was too old and they denied me. But there's a big long story behind that, and I'm not here to talk about that. But nonetheless, I haven't been able to keep up with my bills and anything. I can't monetize anything anywhere. I've got books on the market they won't sell. Nobody sees me. I'm being shadow banned here, across the whole internet, everywhere. So anything you see, any of y'all who see my videos here, if you're not sharing them, nobody else is seeing them. Just so you know, I'm absolutely being blackballed in every sense of the word through the internet. I was kicked off of Twitter in 2019, right after Alex Jones, and I had nothing to do with his particular case, and mine was a completely separate issue. And as you can guess, it relates to my videos here about George Lucas and his corruption, and I'm still trying to wake people up. You know, I see people who are supposedly right-wing conservatives, and they go and they make videos and they'll use chopped up bits of Star Wars and make cutesy videos with them, and I'm like, man, do you not understand? This is all things that I wouldn't be saying to you, that you really are going to have to deal with God at the end for this, because George Lucas is corrupt. He stole Star Wars from all kinds of people. Okay, he didn't steal Star Wars from me. He stole Jedi Knights in the Force from me when I was 7 years old. Okay. Again, I've told this story. His cousin lived around the corner from me when I was 7 in 1974. I've been trying to tell the truth, and this happened, and I sat and figured out this date multiple times. This happened right around the end of April of 1974. So we're going on 50 years now. 50 years this month. 50 years it's been since he took Jedi Knights in the Force. Of course, y'all didn't even know it, and y'all didn't know nothing about Jedi Knights until 3 years later when he released Star Wars. It's sad because he made that movie and never, ever, ever worried about the kid he stole that from. Never. I mean, I was poor. I was living next to the projects as a kid, and I was poorer than the kids in the projects. And this man made billions of dollars, and what did he do for me? Who would do that? Do you understand that you are supporting this kind of a person? He stole from a 7-year-old kid and didn't care at all whatsoever. Not an inkling, not a thought, not even to come look for me and say, you know what, maybe I should do something for him. Something. No. That's what you call greed. That's what you call, Becca, how do you do that? I mean, I can't even fathom that. I couldn't go up to your kid and say, hey, you know what, you give me this, I'll make you rich, and then go get rich myself and say, I'll screw that kid. I couldn't do that. What kind of a person does that? You think that's okay? I don't care what Star Wars is. It's shit to me now, because I don't see anything coming from him as good. So anybody who's still using that, you're ignorant. Okay, you're just ignorant. That's it. It's the end of it. You're ignorant because it's evil. He never mentions God in any of the Star Wars because he's evil. He puts Lucifer in the cantina. He's a Luciferian. And you can take that whatever way you want. And that's my opinion. I think he's a Luciferian. Matter of fact, I pretty much know he is. I just, proved it to you all. And again, I can't prove nothing to you without the evidence I had they stole. And, you try... let me ask you a question. Do you seriously think for 1 minute, I've never been to jail, never been into trouble in my life, do you think I would sit and write USA Today, Newsweek, 3 different presidents of the United States. William Rehnquist, the head of the Supreme Court, before he died. You think I would have written all these people and told them my story if I were lying about it? Wake up! I did not make this story up. George Lucas took Jedi Knights in the Force from me when I was 7 years old, and he didn't give a crap. 7 years old. And he figured he could just keep getting away with it. Well, he's not gonna. And I don't care if I die saying the truth. I'm gonna die saying it. I'm not gonna stop saying it until the day I die. He's gonna come out and he's gonna admit it, or he's gonna go straight to hell. And that's the end of it. Because I don't have to make up things about anybody. There's nobody else in this world who ever did anything to me. I don't owe anything to anyone. But he robbed me and lied about everything. You know? You look at his movies. You know, I'm gotten to the point where I'm past frustrated. I try to explain this to people, and I try to be nice. And even on my other stuff, I haven't. Not everybody knows what you know. You know here. I don't tell this to everybody because I don't. You know what? There's other things I talk about, and then people, when you start telling them this, they'll go like, "You're crazy." That's what they would say. You're crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Okay. And that's why I don't associate these channels to each other. I don't do my chef channel and talk about this. Because I do other things and talk about this. This is not what my life revolves around, but my whole life would not be what it is had he kept his word and not lied to a 7-year-old kid. Oh, I make you rich and famous. Give me that. That is an ultra scumbag. Do you understand? He is an ultra scumbag. Then I sit and watched him have the nerve to talk to a guy about asking him for his autograph. The audacity of this man. These people are disgusting. And do you think he's probably the only one in Hollywood that's done this to people? Guess again. You know, and the whole thing is, it's ironic that I forgot about all that. And then when I started writing my book, Rod of Iron, I sent it to Lucasfilm. They don't send it back. I see parts of my book, Rod of Iron, in 3 different movies. And that was 1987 when I started writing Rod of Iron. I started it. I didn't really get like just the basic idea down. And then I actually started writing right at the beginning of 88. And I said, you know what? I couldn't decide what I needed to do with it. And, you know, I kind of wrote myself into a corner. So I wrote a short version of Rod of Iron. I sent it to Lucasfilm. It never came back. Then I see part of it's in Cocoon 2, The Return, Cocoon the Return, Warlock, and the Ghost. You know, you can take it for what it's worth. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm a writer. I'm writing a book. I almost got you know what? I almost got my next book done. I'm like 1 chapter from being done with it. But, you know, I don't have to sit and tell you something about somebody who if they had never done it. If he hadn't done what I'm telling you now, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. You know, I have to sell my condominium. This is the home me and my wife bought. And she passed away in 2020, and she had a tiny. I spent my 401k buying insurance through Obamacare. Okay, that was costing me $2,400 a month. It ate my 401k up. Then my wife passes away. She has 2 401ks. She leaves me the smaller one because somebody was talking to her. It doesn't matter who and why or how, but I got enough that it wasn't enough to pay this condo off. And I only had enough to survive for a few years, and we're at the end of that few years right now. I'm out. I'm broke. I can't get help. I've been fighting for my SS. I finally got a lawyer at the end of 2022. He's got my case going, and then we're waiting on a hearing. Now, they rejected my application the first time because I don't have any medical records. They want medical records for the year before, which makes no sense. If I got my legs chopped off completely in 2016, and I turned that paperwork that said it in 2020, they would turn you down. Do you understand how stupid that is? They would turn you down, go, well, your paperwork ain't from last year. So apparently because you don't have the paperwork, you're not handicapped, then you don't need any SS and you don't need any help. It's the dumbest thing of SS could ever possibly have done for their rules. You know what? I've talked to my representative for the state of Ohio, J.D. Vance. I've done everything. I don't know what else to do. I'm in an HOA that won't let me run my businesses. I'm trying to sell books, but I'm shadow banned. I have absolutely no way to make money. I am absolutely pinned here with no income and no way to make any. Do you understand how frustrating that is? And knowing that this piece of actually robbed me when I was 7 and never cared at all. Never cared at all. How do you do that? How do you do that? You have no soul. And I'm telling you, you have no soul. George Lucas, you have no soul, dude. There's nothing inside of you. You're an empty vessel, hollow shell of a piece of... I'm going to try to maintain my cool. And it's just that I've been through this for, how long now? I started trying to talk about this in 2000. Nope. I started trying to write him in 2000, at the end of 2000 and beginning of 2001. He tried to have me locked up in 2001. For what? Nothing. I didn't say anything threatening. Even the detective who called me told me, well, you didn't say anything threatening, you should get a lawyer. 20 years later, man, I wrote so many lawyers. I wrote, like I said, presidents, even the William Rehnquist, head of the Supreme Court, because nobody cares. You understand where that leaves God with the world? This isn't just about me. It isn't just about George Lucas. It's about you and the truth in the world. If you cannot accept the truth, and the world is doomed. It is doomed because there's nothing left for you. There's nothing. Between you and God, why should God save you? If you can't accept the truth and you don't know it, well, what use are you to God? The world is made up of solid and by truth, by the foundation. You build your foundation on the rock. The rock is the truth. You don't build your house on sand and garbage. You build your house on the truth. And when the world has none, what does God do with you then? So this is no longer about me. This is about you and good and evil. Okay? George Lucas took Jedi Knights from a 7-year-old kid, told him he was going to make him rich and famous, and left him in the gutter. Now you don't like it. That's too bad. I've listened to all of you guys trying to simp for Star Wars, and I loved the first 3 movies when I was a kid. But you know what's funny is like I said, and if you go back and watch my videos, when I saw that first movie, I said to my dad, "Isn't that my?" When he was in the cave, and he said, "Your father and I were like both Jedi." I never remember that line, but that's just the point. Your father was a Jedi like me or something, whatever he said. Yeah, I don't ever remember that line. But that's when I said to my dad, "Isn't that mine?" And my dad's like, "Oh no, that's his." So that was 1977. I never remembered again until 1999. Even then, I didn't start to remember. My mom told me the story about me falling on a Tinker toy. And that wasn't what happened. And so that began the whole process, because his cousin almost killed me in his backyard with a piece of rebar. And he lived 400 and something feet around the corner from me in Louisville, Kentucky, on Robinwood Road. He lived at 5707 Robinwood Road. I lived on his 5707 Robinwood Road. He was about right here, and I was right here on Riata Boulevard. So 5513. So 400 and something feet apart. But I'm not getting into that whole story again. You can go back and watch my other videos. I just want to let y'all know I'm still here, but I have to pack and move now. So I don't know how long it'll be before I can get somewhere, get resituated. And if when I sell this, I'll get enough out of the equity to even buy something else. I don't know. So it doesn't matter. You know, but it's just ironic. As I said, I don't want his money. I don't want his fame. Especially if it comes at the cost of your soul. You know what I'm saying? You can take that and put it in the bank. I still believe that that flying scroll in the Bible, they're talking about the scroll you see scrolling across the screen at the beginning of Star Wars, because he who lies and he who steals, and that's everything that's in that flying scroll in Star Wars, because he stole everything in Star Wars between me, Lee Brackett, Edmund Hamilton, even his soundtrack. You look at King's Row by Wolfgang Korngold, Eric Wolfgang Korngold, and Gustav Holst. You look at like I said, the books both by Edmund Hamilton and Lee Brackett, and then there's characters that are all like revamped from Star Trek. So everything in Star Wars is stolen from someone else. George Lucas is a corrupt piece of fodder, and you can take that to the bank. I'm not gonna go any further with this video. I just want to let y'all know where I was. I'm still trying to get help. I may have one little inkling of light, and that is that I just got approved for Medicaid, and I can go to the doctor now. But they told me they couldn't even, and I found this out actually at the end of January. And they said they can't get me in until April. So we're just now hitting April. So we're right at the 50-year anniversary. Hey George, 50 years, buddy. You've been telling a lie for 50 years. Imagine, that's pretty good, man. How do you get away with lying for 50 years? I'm just curious. How do you get away with it? And then who stole my evidence, and how? How did they steal my evidence? I mean, because I can't think of any way they knew I had it, because I never told anybody, except when I went on the phone with my brothers and said, hey, man, can you go get that sleeve? You know, there was a piece of paper in there, you know, and I asked them to go get my sleeve, my document sleeve, and oh, boom, it disappeared. By the time I went down in 2015, it was gone. I started making videos in 2014, right at the end of 2014. Then you shadow banned my channel, and my viewership dropped from 49,550 views in a week down to, it took it over 5 years to hit 50,000. Now you figure that one out. How'd you go from 49,500 in a week down to 500? Actually, it was only took it 400. Actually, I only needed 450 more. It took it 5 years to get 450 more views. Yeah, you know what? You think God doesn't know what you're doing? You think God's not seeing what you're doing? God's going to catch up to every one of you. Every last one of you. And every last one of you are going to see what God's wrath looks like. Good luck to you, George. Oh, and one last little thing. My mortgage company called and gave me 3 more months of deferments. But that doesn't mean no good, because I still have to pack up and leave, because I can't. I'm in an HOA where I can't make money. So what good does it do me to stay here not making money? All my lights will be shut off. My internet, my phones, everything will get shut off because I'm stuck here in an HOA that won't allow me to run businesses. So it does me no good to stay here for 3 months. But I have the time if I need it. You all please share this video with someone. Get the truth out, man, because, you know, who knows? Who knows if this is something that's more important than you think? And then to God, it is important. Take care.